All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Ron Nick's Rundown. I am Ron. This is Nick. We just got finished watching the Nets and the Bucks. As you can see on the screen, the Bucks handle their business and beat the Nets. A huge game, but we'll talk about that in a second. We got two guests here with us this evening. You know, you recognize one of them who was with us last time. Chris Inspires You, Mr. Chris Wallace. How are you doing this evening, sir?
All is well, man. Can't complain.
Absolutely. And of course, new to the show. Well, actually, he was on our podcast version, but this is his first time on the video version and podcast version of our show, Mr. Walt Christmas. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm here.
Yes, sir.
We here.
Ooh, I don't know. Sorry, we'll get to that. We will get to that. But now let's talk about a game that we just watched. Obviously, I hope all of you watched as well. If you're a diehard NBA fan or just a casual fan, the Bucks defeated the Nets 120-109. And yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo definitely came through in the clutch, tied the game with a three, and definitely hit some clutch free throws when he was fouled by Nick Claxton. Nick obviously disagreed, but he'll get to that. Go ahead, Nick. Just go ahead.
That's some whole shit, man. Let me tell you something, man. That was a flagrant one on Wesley Matthews on KD in the corner for the three. They're going to review it and say, well, it's a regular foul. No, it wasn't a regular foul. The man couldn't come down. That's the Zaza rule.
Hey, man.
What
was meant to happen, happened, man. The Nets been playing around all year. You know, they just try to get to the playoffs. So, you know,
yes.
None of this matter at the end of the day, you know. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Nice little warm-up. You know, it's a little warm-up right there.
Yes. And Chris, what's your thoughts on this game? Sorry.
Man, I think Giannis just proved what we already knew. He's the best player in the league. You know, he's the most dominant player in the league. And this last, couple weeks of the season, man, he's showing everybody why. And people have been sleeping on Milwaukee all season long. And the Bucks, man, they might repeat.
Shoot, they could. No,
honestly, they got the pieces. They got the pieces. They got a transcendent star. They've got the defense, they've got the shooting, and they're hungry still.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. They definitely are. Like I said, Nick, you had more thoughts before I keep going?
Sure. We'll catch them in the 2-7 match if they still there.
Okay.
Nets don't want to see the Bucks, man. You say not in the first round. They don't want to see the Bucks.
I think it's the reverse, man. The Bucks don't want to see the Nets in the first round, bro. That's a tough matchup for the defending champs in the first round. The defending champs that damn near lost to the same team last. Damn, you know how close it was. They was this close.
Yes,
close to losing.
That's a fact, man. But Nets defensively, man, they don't stop anyone. You say so? Why do you fear them? And if it's KD all day, every day, I know KD is one of the 10 or 15 great players we've ever seen, particularly offensively. But man, where was Kyrie? Where was Kyrie in the fourth quarter and overtime? Did he even take a shot? I think he took one shot. He took one shot in overtime in the last 5 minutes of the game combined. It was just KD ISO. That's all it was.
Yeah, that was shocking. Yeah, that was shocking to me.
That was Steve Nash call.
Yeah, I thought that was
that was KD call. That wasn't Steve Nash. KD said, "Give me the damn ball and move."
I think, but Kyrie just got back full time, bro. So this KD's team. It's KD's team anyway, but you gotta earn that. You gotta earn that. And I think come playoff time, he get his legs. He's playing every day now. I think Kyrie will. He can drop 50. He can drop 50 at any given night when he put his mind to it, right? But he just got to get back into, like you said, like what they say. Steve Nash say this is like the preseason for them. Feel me? They got all they teammates now, with the exception of obviously Ben, who knows if he's coming back or not this season. But these guys is just trying to get that continuity, get a feel for each other, and then come playoff in the playoff time or play-in games, right? Hit the ground running. So we'll see if it's effective or not. Maybe not, right? These guys could lose. They could lose in the playing round, right? And not even be in the playoffs. But hopefully for good TV, these guys will make it and make it some fun playoff basketball.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And speaking of the playoffs, we know coming up soon we will have a play-in tournament very soon, but we'll talk about that in a second. And the playoffs is right around the corner. But let's talk about the battle for first place right now. Right now, the Heat up by half a game over the Bucks. With the Bucks winning, they're now the 2 seed at this moment. The 3 seed, the fantastic Celtics, and they've been on a roll, but they did lose Robert Williams, which will be a big loss. But as long as you got Brown and Tatum, like I said, I'll get through all that in a second. And the Sixers, 2.5 games back of the Heat right now. Who do we think will finish in first in the East by at least next weekend? Chris, I'll start with you.
The Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I feel like Milwaukee is the only team that I'm seeing right now at the top of the Eastern Conference who's saying, we don't give a fuck who we play. You know, they're like just out there hooping. Like you got other teams who are, I think, and again, I don't know this for sure, of course, but I think they're sort of looking at the playoff matchups and saying, okay, we want to play this squad. So let's fit some of our starters and, you know, let's just call it rest. Let's call it load management. I mean, look at what Boston is doing right now. Why is Boston sitting Tatum and you know, those guys or whatever? There's no reason to sit those guys right now. Let those guys finish the season out. You know, Philly's been struggling a lot lately. Is Philly struggling because they're not playing hard, because they don't want that 2-7 matchup against the Nets or that 1-8 matchup against the Nets? So I think teams are sort of jockeying for that position. But what I see from the Milwaukee Bucks is, man, we got, you know, the best player in the league. We got a squad that's the defending champion. Let's just go hoop, and we finish where we finish.
Definitely, man. Yeah, like I said, Bucks. Like I said, they have the experience. They have the experienced squad. They've been together. They're the defending champs. Walt, will go to you next. Who do you think will be first when by next weekend?
Yeah, I mean, so the honest me doesn't think it really matters into the day, right? When it comes down to the playoffs, like the 1-8, 2-7 matchup, I think there's going to be all good teams, especially with the Nets down there. But if I had to give an answer based on my gut, I'm gonna stick with the Heat. I just think defensively, the Heat are just so strong. I think they can match up with anybody. B is alpha. You know, he's the best player in the league in his own mind, and I love his mentality like that. But I just think the way the schedule lines up, I think given that they're going to be in every game and just defensively bother everybody, I'll stick with the Heat. And you know, we'll see where it rises. Do I think they're going to win? You know, make it deep into the playoffs? Probably a second round team, maybe depending on first round matchup. But I think defensively they're gonna give everybody issues.
All right, Nick, man, like I said, the Heat have definitely, like I say, they've been consistently good all season long. That was a big win yesterday over the Celtics on the road. That was definitely a huge win. Nick, who do you got? Who you think will be the number 1 seed?
Don't matter as long as they don't play the Nets, they good. I don't care about none of that. Whoever got first, if the Nets land in the 8th spot, good. Well, going home.
No.
Denver Nuggets, Seattle Sonics, man. Go back. Talk to them. You're Knicks.
Not the same kind of matchup. Yes, and I mean, I see what you're saying or whatever, but it's not the same kind of matchup. I mean, that Nuggets Sonics series from '94, I believe. I mean, you had the Nuggets were such underdogs. I think the Nets will go into any 1-8 series or 2-7 series, and they might be the favorite in that series. You know what I'm saying?
Bombers championship. As long as you get KD to rock.
Man, listen, but I bet Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying, would rather play a Miami, you know what I'm saying, or a Philly or a Boston, especially, as opposed to having to play a team like Milwaukee. They do not want to see the Bucks in the first round. Any of those other 3 teams, I think they'd be favored in that series, honestly.
Man, as of right now, the Heat would play the Nets in the first round if the playoffs had started today. And that's
a Brooklyn win. Brooklyn will win that series 4-2.
Anybody else? Well, I know you agree. Is it 4-2 or is it going to be much? Or is it going to be more of a? Do you think it'll be end sooner? Or
Bombers championship.
In other words, you don't care when it ends, as long as they win. Do you agree with that, Walt?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Nets will win if it's a series versus the Heat. 4-2. 4-2. Yeah, I'll go 4-2. I'm leaning 4-1, but I like Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? I like Kyle. I like playoff Kyle. I think the Heat's roster is just well balanced. While I think Brooklyn's roster is just top heavy, right? Top heavy with a lot of role players. So you once you like kind of like Drew did. Drew pretty much took out Kyrie in the fourth quarter, just face guard him the whole time, and you just put it on KD. KD is you're gonna live or die with him, right? And today you died with him. So come playoff series, you get Jimmy B roughing him up a little bit. KD gonna drop 30 a game, but come clutch, is he gonna hit the game winner? You know what I'm saying? With that pressure on them all game. So we'll see. But I definitely think the Nets will win the series.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But now let's talk about. Well, I'm not going to necessarily talk about. I'm just going to run down who the playing teams that likely looks like it's going to be likely the playing teams at the moment. The Cavs are the 7 seed. I know Evan Mobley is out right now. I think with an ankle sprain, if I'm not mistaken. I got an injury wrong, but we'll see. And the Hornets and the Hawks, those are likely look like it's going to be the playing teams right now. But anyhow, let's now talk about how bad the Lakers are. It has not been very good. It's not. I think if anybody can say how bad the Lakers are, it is definitely Chris. So Chris, I'm gonna let you have the floor. Right now they are currently nope. I'm gonna say the Lakers are currently at least they are up at least against over the Spurs, but not by much. I gotta wind up. But not. They're right now playing the Jazz at the moment. LeBron with an ankle injury. AD has had a mid-foot sprain since February 16th.
I think 3 years ago.
3 years ago. 2016,
Yes. And look at the Pelicans. Pelicans are 9th at the moment in the West. And both those teams play tomorrow. Okay, that's a big one. All right, in LA. So, Chris, LeBron's going to try to play. Is going to try to target tomorrow, and Anthony Davis is expected to play tomorrow, barring an injury. So, Chris, are the Lakers even going to make the play-in tournament? Or let's not even say the playoffs at the moment. Are they even going to make the play-in tournament? The floor is yours.
Playoffs? Man, no. Listen, this has been a train wreck all season. All right, I got a couple things that I want to throw in as well. First of all, LeBron ain't really hurt. Yes, and he's circling games on the schedule, saying, "Okay, I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna drop my 35. I'm gonna sit out the next game, and then I'm gonna circle this game, and I'm gonna drop 35." He's trying to win a scoring time, and so he wants the narrative to be that this year. Oh yeah, we didn't make the playoffs, but I won the scoring title at 37. So he wants that to be something that he adds to his GOAT bag, that he's chasing. But the Lakers, and I said this from the very beginning of the season, I said this during the preseason, I said that Russell Westbrook was the worst acquisition that the Lakers could have made this offseason. Not that Russ is a bad player, and his numbers don't look terrible this year. It's just that Russ, and I said this, and you guys are my witness. I've said this for years. Russ is a numbers guy, man. He chases numbers more than any player that I've seen in a really, really long time. And even when you hear him talking his post-game press conferences, it's all about him and what he's done and what he's accomplished. And I'm like, dude, you got to be able to change how you play basketball to meet the evolving game. Like, his game doesn't work well with that squad. And I don't know. I can't think of a single team that you can drop Russell Westbrook on and say he's going to make that squad win. Like, that's one of the problems in LA. The other problem is that Anthony Davis just can't stay healthy. So all year long, I've been saying trade Anthony Davis before his value, before he has no value. There's going to become a point where people are going to look at Anthony Davis and say, man, hell nah, that dude. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I can give up a round pick or a player that can actually be on the court playing for a guy that's fragile. I mean, even right now, if Dame Lillard said, I want out of Portland and trade me to the Lakers, I don't think the Lakers could take Anthony Davis and trade him straight up for Dame Lillard at this point. The Blazers would turn that down. The Lakers literally have to find a third team to facilitate a trade because the Blazers wouldn't want a 28-year-old Anthony Davis, who's supposed to be the best or the second best player in the league at this point in his career. It's terrible. And the bad thing about the Lakers this year is that everyone's blaming Frank Vogel. I'm like, this ain't Frank's fault. It's an together roster full of old cats. I'm not talking about 30-year-old cats. I'm talking about 35, 37, 34. And you got guys. Kendrick Nunn ain't played one single play this season. And he's now out for the season. To acquire Kendrick Nunn, out for the season. Anthony Davis, he's missed a significant amount of time. Trevor Ariza was over the hill. Carmelo, I like Melo. He gives us buckets. He's won us a few games this year, but Melo is long in the tooth. Malik Monk is the only guy, that of the free agents that we acquired who's really done something this year. He's outplayed his contract, and Lakers not going to be able to keep him because we can't pay him $1.7 million next year. Surely there's going to be a team out there that gives him 15, 20 million a year over 2 or 3 years. And that's going to happen with the way he's performed. But there's not a lot to take from this season with the Lakers or from the Lakers, other than the fact that, GM LeBron, was just wrong this time. The package for Buddy Hield and some other pieces was a better deal than Russell Westbrook. And I think this offseason, you've got to seriously consider three things. You definitely have to trade or release Russell Westbrook. We know that. The second thing is you absolutely have to trade Anthony Davis. There's no more, we're going to keep them two together, blah, blah, blah. No, it's time to trade Anthony Davis. And the third thing, which is going to be difficult pill to swallow, is you've got to consider trading LeBron. Because LeBron, this is probably the last year of this LeBron that we're going to see. Like at some point, Father Time is undefeated, right? Like LeBron James ain't going to be averaging 30 points a game as a fucking 38-year-old, 39-year-old player. He's only averaging 30 a game this year because nobody else is scoring.
No.
So you've got to trade. You get whatever you can for Russell Westbrook. It don't matter what it is. If it's a bottle of damn wine, go get the bottle of wine for Russ. All right? Get him off your book. Trade Anthony Davis, try to acquire some first-round picks because we don't have a first until 2027. Bruh, that's 5 years from now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to do something. And then LeBron James, I bet LeBron James could probably get you 3 or 4 firsts right now. You got to just canvas the league and see what you can get. So by trading AD and LeBron, you might be able to get 4 or 5 first-round picks and just start over from scratch. And in 2 years, target John Morant.
Okay. Hey, but they won a chip though, right? but they won a chip though, right?
But these 4 years in LA, like it, and people will call this. Hey, I'm a Laker fan, and I have a difficult relationship with LeBron. But these 4 years in LA, I wouldn't necessarily call it a success. The first year you don't make the playoffs. The second year you win a bubble chip. All right, let's put an asterisk beside that. That's a bubble chip. The third year you get obliterated in the first round by the Suns. The fourth year you probably don't make the playoffs. So you have 2 years where you don't make the playoffs. 1 year where you lose in the first round, which is essentially sweet, and then you have 1 year where you won a bubble chip. Is that a successful 4-year run?
But we knew from the beginning that this wasn't a basketball move for Bron. Going to LA wasn't a basketball move for Bron. But going to LA was a business move for Bron. So all that came with it. Obviously he got 80 out of New Orleans, and that they formed the dynamic duo. But the pieces around them, I mean, look at what they traded, right? Like look at what the Lakers have let go for Anthony Davis, and look at how much talent that's from Lonzo to BI to Josh to, I mean, the list goes on and on of like perennial all-star youth that's just gonna blow up in the next couple of years while Bron, is on the end of his career. So like, I mean, they made a business decision that they got a chip. It still counts no matter what. But with that being said, the quality of basketball being played in LA right now is just subpar, right? And to your point, the legacy. Bron's legacy is already sealed, right? But it's trending toward like the Jordan end, right? Where Jordan was just, he could get buckets, but you knew for a fact that it was over, right? And Bron's not quite there yet, but it's coming, and it's kind of sad to see him go out on such a sour note, like it was watching MJ, like on that Wizards team, just for the most part, just throwing up shots, right? So yeah, it's sad, but I mean, Bron has played, an amazing career. He's played, I don't even know what season he's in, like 18 or so, like whatever it is. Yeah, like he's a beast, bro. He's top 10 all time, and I'll leave it there. He's top 10 all time, maybe 5, but like he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, a billionaire, and will go on to do many great things beyond basketball.
All right.
Yeah. Well, to that, hold on a second, Nick. To that point though, about Lakers trading all that youth. There's a theory, that I've heard from GMs, owners, right? When we watch other podcasts, listen to these guys talk, that you do whatever you can to get like the player, like particularly if he's a top 5 or top 10 player in the league. So I don't necessarily think the Lakers were wrong to get Anthony Davis, because the Anthony Davis we saw in New Orleans was a player that we thought Anthony Davis was going to be, and the Lakers acquired him at 25 years old. So you're getting a guy who's not even in the prime of his career yet, and he was already a dominant player with the Pelicans. So I think the Lakers thought they were getting the heir to LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Which is why you give up 5 players and pick to get him. Now, again, I feel like they should have kept, a piece or two, but in order to get Anthony Davis, you had to give up what you had to give up. And it is what it is. Yeah, they did get a chip out of it, but man, 1 chip in 4 years in LA with the best player in the league for part of that time and a young ascending player, that's a disappointment.
Sure. Go ahead, just say what you got to say.
They got over there looking for street clothes. That motherfucker got more Gucci outfits and Louis and Air Maxes. That can't be dripped up, man.
That boy be dripped
like,
up.
damn, homie, I need to see who your stylist. You have a hella fits. You know what I'm saying? He on BR kicks every week.
Yo, drip. He got
they
drip.
Got what he was looking for.
Oh,
they got it. Don't you talk about Melo? You leave Melo out of it. He came there on good faith. He tired now. He's like, you know what? Cancun is.
Okay.
You know
I'm gonna ask you this question first. Then, at the end of the day, who will be the 2 teams left standing out of the Pelicans, Lakers, and Spurs? Who will be the last 2 teams in the West Conference standing?
Man, it's a sad story. I like to say the Pelicans and the Lakers, but it's a sad story how they about to go out. Nobody even talk about Dwight Howard, top 76. What? Hey, what? Hey, that man didn't make it. Top 76, man. No disrespect. He should have been top 75. Russell Westbrook.
Who's the playing teams for the West now? I know Pels.
I know, right? It was definitely the Clippers are definitely going to be there at 8. Looks like they're going to be stuck there at 8. And the T-Wolves are right now 2.5 games back of the Jazz for 6. So it looks like the T-Wolves will definitely get a home game there.
So the T-Wolves will play the Lakers if the Lakers make it.
No. The T-Wolves will play
7
the
and 8 will play each other, 9 and 10 will play.
Then the 9 and the 10. Okay. So the Lakers, if the Lakers stay at 10, Lakers will have to play 2 road games there.
Right.
2 of them to get to even get a spot.
I don't think the Lakers can beat. I don't think the Lakers can beat. I think they can beat the Pels for sure. It depends what Pels team who plays. The Pels are like the Lakers, where somebody's always hurt, right? BI's always hurt, but like healthy Pels and the healthy Lakers, I think the Lakers take that. But like the Lakers versus the Wolves, yeah, I don't know. Cat is doing his thing, and then the Clips, Clip Show got PG dropped what? First game back in however long, dropped 34. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough, bro. It's a tough matchup, Chris. Good luck, sir.
They're not gonna be the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean,
they will not. No, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, y'all are right. Y'all right there on point. And that's just the Lakers get in. Because if they lose tonight, which they're going to lose to the Jazz, don't they fall to 11th again behind the Spurs?
Half
Yeah,
game.
they're around there. Yeah, they're around there.
They play the Pelicans tomorrow.
Yep,
You know,
tomorrow
and
night.
Anthony Davis is a game time decision, and LeBron is a game time decision. You know, so I mean, man, listen, would it be just? I hate to say this, but would it be better to just not make the playoffs and be a lottery team?
That's not what. But they're not going to get a good.
Well, actually, wait. They don't even have a draft pick.
It won't be.
They don't
It
have
won't
a
be.
first round pick.
No, they don't have one. No, they don't. I don't think they should lose it. No, them Laker fans don't want to hear that. Spend all that expensive money on them tickets, the season tickets. Nobody want to hear that they're going to miss the playoffs, even no matter how decent or bad they are at the moment. So, are we saying that the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, or are they going to miss the playoffs?
They're going to miss it.
Miss,
You
yeah,
think they're
no,
gonna miss
they definitely miss. Yeah, let me ask you this, and this is kind of off topic, but who's the Lakers' third best player right now? Obviously, we got the two alphas and Bron and AD when healthy, but who's number 3?
You said Russ.
And right. That's right. Okay, so Russ is their third best player, and that's scary.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. On some nights it's Malik Monk.
Yeah.
You know,
and it shouldn't be that way.
I mean, Malik Monk shows flashes, and I'm like, damn, this cat can hoop. And he reminds me so much of a young J.R. Smith. I mean, every time I see him play, I feel like there's J.R. Smith out there hooping from, you know, the when he was with New Orleans and when he was with the Knicks. Yeah. I was like, that looks like J.R. Smith. But yeah, I don't know, man. Russ is kind of, I think Russ is checked out. Russ is definitely checked out mentally. He's like, you know what? I can't wait till this shit is over.
The media's ate him up, though. The media's been eating Russ up since day one. Yeah. Like at this point, you know, you could just tell in his interviews, right? Russ is Russ is so far. He's so far beyond, you know, the game of basketball right now. Russ is just looking for confrontation at this point.
Right. No. Well, what do you think we need? That's terrible, man. I'm starting to feel bad for the guy. Like, I mean, I've been dragging him all year, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of feel sorry for this dude now, man. Like, he getting drugged. Like, God, no.
It's the coaching.
Okay, Jarrell. Not, man. Like, you can't put Russell Westbrook on the floor anywhere and he'd be successful. Like, I mean, his most successful place is on the bench. The Lakers make their runs when Russ is not on the floor. Like, seriously, Russ has got to accept a role now. If he's gonna be your first, second, or third best player, you're not gonna win. All right. So Russ has got to say, you know what? Maybe I should, you know, learn from Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony got humbled. Carmelo Anthony was out of the league for 2 years until he realized that his best role at
this point, easy there. Hey, get carried away.
His best role at this point moving forward is coming off of the bench and giving you 13 to 15 points off the bench. He accepted his role, which is why he thrived in Portland. And then he came to the Lakers, and he's having a pretty good year off the bench with LA. Russell Westbrook is in the same position. Accept your role. Know what your role is at this point in your career. You are no longer a number 1 or number 2 guy. It's just that. And he doesn't defend anyone. I don't know if you've ever watched Russell Westbrook try and defend someone on the court. This brother does not defend a single soul. It'd be better off with the Lakers. Would be better off with one of us out there guarding Russ's man.
Hey man, put some respect on Mr. Triple Dub, man.
That's the problem. He doesn't guard because he's chasing numbers. He's chasing rebounds. The dude sags off his man, and he's waiting for the rebound. I'm like, bruh, guard your guy.
My man, he got on a farewell tour on OKC.
Man, hold on, man. Let me do this again, man.
All right, we're gonna go to our next topic, and yes, we do have a big event this weekend. Is the Final Four. Yes, Kansas is playing Villanova, but obviously the most anticipated sporting event maybe ever. Duke and North Carolina. As people seen the video, Walt is Duke ready. He is ready for this game. Everyone's ready for this game. First time ever that they will meet in the tournament. First time ever, and it's in one of the biggest stages in sports. And yes, they'll be in the Superdome. in New Orleans. We're going to definitely talk about, obviously, a couple of meetings. The first meeting, obviously, Duke went to Chapel Hill and destroyed the Tar Heels. But then, woo! That's on Coach K's very last game in Durham. His very last home game. The Tar Heels came to town and handed Duke an L. Yes, they did. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, and that you can't take that away from the Tar Heels ever again. But Duke has a chance now to right that wrong on a big stage where everyone will be watching. And the state of North Carolina is definitely completely hyped up for this game. Even the Dreamville Festival that's happening, I was going to shout them out, but they're going to stream that game at the Dreamville Festival with J. Cole. That's nuts. I will ask you, Walt, this. I'm going to ask you both this, actually, because I know Chris definitely loves North Carolina, and obviously Walt loves Duke. Walt, tell me why Duke is going to beat North Carolina this time.
Because it's not the spectacle no more, man. Like Coach K's last game in Cameron was just a spectacle, man. Like you had all the former Duke players come back, all the media coverage, all the, it was just a ceremony before the game, the ceremony after the game. The focus wasn't on Duke basketball. The focus was on Coach K. And you could tell by Coach K's, post game, little rant that he was just completely fed up with all the coverage that he was getting about his farewell, right? So, but this time it's about basketball, and I think Duke is a better basketball team than UNC. I think UNC has been playing some amazing basketball, honestly, and the game makes me nervous, I'll be honest, but I think from a pure talent standpoint, and talent doesn't always win games, but I think the way that we're playing right now with the emergence of Jeremy Roach, who's now the starting point guard, who's now penetrating, who is now shooting better with AJ, sniper AJ Griffin, who will be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Just feeling, getting his swag up. Obviously you got Paolo, and he's just, top 2 pick in the draft, who was just averaging 18 and 8. And then you got Mark Williams, right? So when you think of Carolina, you think of, Armando Bacot and him doubles, right? And I think that Mark Williams, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, can at least mitigate that a bit. But we got to focus. I mean, the X factor for Carolina, and everybody knows it, is Manic, right? And some people say Caleb Love, but no, Manic. Manic is the X factor for them. If Manic hits those corner threes consistently, he opens up the floor for everyone else. And if you mess around and get Caleb Love some confidence, he'll start shooting from everywhere. So if we can control the 3 early on, take their confidence early on, honestly, I think we'll win by more than 10. But that's why they play the game.
All right, Chris, why are the Tar Heels going to beat Duke on Saturday and attempt to not only move on to the national championship, but end Coach K's career?
Well, I think Walt spoke to momentum, right? And I think right now, from the end of the season through the tournament, Carolina has such momentum right now. And, I hear Walt. I agree. Duke across the board probably has a better basketball team. And as Walt says, sometimes a better basketball team doesn't win. We've seen this. I remember that Kentucky team with Karl Anthony Towns and Willie Cauley-Stein, and they were going for that unbeaten season, and they got beat by a team that wasn't better than them. But they just played better basketball on that given day. And that's what the NCAA tournament is about. It's win in advance by any means necessary. St. Peter's, isn't, if they had to play some of those teams that they beat, 10 times, they lose 9 of those times, and they win that one that they won in this tournament. Carolina, with the momentum that they have right now, with Caleb Love's confident, with Manic, as Walt said, hitting those threes and opening up the floor, Bacot, dominating the interior. I just think that, they're playing for something a little bit different right now. I think Duke has a little bit of pressure on them that Walt did not share. This is Coach K's last season and could potentially be his last game. And so the players have to sort of, carry the burden of, oh my God, if we lose this is it for Coach K. So that added pressure onto the Blue Devil squad, I think makes it advantage Carolina. Carolina is coming in as an 8 seed. There weren't any expectations for them coming into this tournament. Hell, half the Carolina fan base wanted Hubert Davis fired after the first 20 games of the season. Like, what is he doing? So Carolina went from a team that was on the bubble of making it to the tournament to a team that's an 8 seed in the Final Four, who's literally just out there playing basketball right now. And I think Carolina, after surviving that rush from Baylor, got their confidence back. And I just think they're ready to. This might be that season where they win it all because they're playing better basketball right now than other teams are playing.
Man.
Yeah, get the ball, take that ball out of the net and run. You know what I'm saying? And run. And listen, I agree. Jeremy Roach, is hooping right now. I didn't even know he had that in him. I'm like, man, this cat, he hoop. And Duke's got some ballers on that squad, man. But Carolina, if you had to put the two together, like Carolina's playing better basketball than any of the 4 teams that are remaining in the tournament right now. Now, listen, granted, Kansas, what they did in the second half, in the Elite 8 was, oh my God, but
yes,
the Tar Heels are playing the best basketball of the remaining 4 teams, and I see that carrying over to Saturday night.
Yeah, and I like you. So you mentioned the pressure, right? And I agree with you a little bit. So I agree that if Duke would have won in Cameron, right, I feel like it would be much more pressure on them this go around because it's Coach K. Because at that point, everybody feels like Duke is destined to win the championship at this point, right?
Right.
But because they lost that game, I think it was one of those things where it humbles you, right? It humbles you. It makes you not take it for granted. So I think the focus now was like, look, that was the biggest stage of college basketball all season. That game was the biggest stage up until this point, right? The biggest stage, the highest rated game on ESPN was Coach K Duke versus Carolina in Cameron, Coach K's last game. The biggest stage, Duke lost, got smacked, right? And smacked in front of 99 former players, right? Which many of them had won championships for K. But now it's like, look, all that's over. Like we overcame that. We lost in the tournament to B-Tech, whatever. But the momentum that we have, the way that we're playing basketball right now, you can give the ball to 4 different players on Duke starting lineup, including Trevor Keels off the bench. And they can all create their own shot at this point. That's a tough guard. Mark Williams is hitting turnaround J's now. What? 7 foot, 7'9", arm span. I mean, 4 blocks a game, bruh. It's a tough matchup. Carolina, the only way that Carolina's going to win that game is if they shoot over 40% from 3-point. The entire game.
Which they're very capable of.
Which they can do. But the only way they're going to win is if they shoot over 40%. If Caleb Love has Love's infamous 2 for 19 games, because Caleb's not gonna stop shooting, bro. Caleb is not.
He's not.
Caleb is the best. Like I say, Jimmy Butler. Caleb is the best player in his mind in the world, bro. Caleb's gonna put up number. He's gonna put up shots. So, I mean, we gonna see, man. Like I feel good. I feel good. I think that loss to Cameron humbled us. Honestly, I don't even remember the game because of all the footage about Coach K and like I can't even remember the second half, to be honest with you. But yes, it's gonna be fun Saturday night, man. Saturday night about 10:45. Yeah, man. That bottle of wine. We popping bottles of bourbon, sir.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. I know I want to talk about more about it, but I know we gotta move along. Nick, you got any thoughts on this game before I move up?
What's the lead scorer's name on Duke? Was it Palo?
Pronounce that for us, Walt. Palo Pancaro.
Palo
Pancaro. Yes. See, I can't pronounce it. Go ahead.
Man, he meant what he said. He wanted to see Carolina again. I ain't forgot that. He meant that. He tried to act all cool about it. Y'all not gonna get me again. Nah, that is a circles framed date in his head, and I think that man is all in.
Hey, biggest game in college basketball, man, in the last probably, I don't know, since maybe Duke, Kentucky back in the day, maybe the biggest game in college basketball, bro, since the 90s, bro.
I would argue that it is the biggest college basketball game that we've seen ever. Like Carolina and Duke, This is the biggest rivalry in college basketball, and we've never seen it in the tournament. And we're gonna see it for the first time in the Final Four, which is crazy. The only thing that could top that is if Carolina and Duke met for the championship.
That's the championship.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So Duke Carolina meeting in the Final Four. I was talking to one of my colleagues. This was 3 weeks ago. I was like, dude, man, and I think this was after the bracket came out. I was like, man, wouldn't it be something if Duke and Carolina met in the Final Four? And here they are, Saturday night in the Final Four, in K's last season, and Hubert Davis's first season. Crazy. Couldn't ask for a better matchup in the Final Four, man. I just hope that it's a great game and that Carolina kicks that ass.
I really didn't like what Hubert said when he was just like, we already did that. This is just another game. I was like, oh, coach, this is life or death.
Yeah,
this ain't no other game.
He's trying not to put pressure on his players, man. That's all that is. That's coach talk.
Give it to me. I'm like Mark Jackson reading Reggie Miller. They said you ain't had it. They said you was turnover prone. They said you was the next Russ.
Oh man.
Hey, yo, what? What'd he say? That's all I need.
Oh,
I'm like
man.
Michael Jordan, man, when it come to that. So I took it personal.
Oh. I'm ready for this game though. Saturday. Look, I'm definitely ready for that game Saturday night. It is going to be one of the biggest sporting events.
That's going to break records.
Yeah, ratings records. Yes, it will. If
you're not nowhere near TV or at the official game or on your phone watching whatever,
at the bar,
you missing history being made.
Yes,
Saturday night.
Yes, and even if you're in the bar, you can watch the game or not. It just just get you a nice little drink and all that stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I just think just the Durham and Chapel Hill area, I could just imagine sports bar. I think I might pull up just to be down there.
Franklin Street. Franklin Street. If you ain't there by at least, I'll say if you ain't there by the morning or by the early afternoon, you're not gonna.
Oh yeah, Carolina win in Franklin Street. Oh my God.
You're nuts.
But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh, you're picking Duke, huh?
I am.
Oh,
I don't have a dog in the fight, but I just, my man said he wanted them. He remembered how they was acting when they beat him on his coach's last game at home and his coach crying. He ain't forget that.
Ooh, okay. Duke are the 4 point.
I don't even play, man.
Duke are the 4 point favorites in this one. I know Paulo Pancaro. I know how to pronounce his name. We know who. Those foreign. Those
Roach
things.
is gonna be the X factor, in my opinion.
Of course he will. Yes.
AJ, man. AJ Griffin, man. AJ dropped double digits. Still, AJ was the man in the first game, so I know we're gonna pick. But AJ, the reason why we smacked Carolina the first time, AJ Griffin hit 6 of 8 from 3. He was just unstoppable. We took over the game. He went on a 10 over in by himself right before the half, and at that point it was over. So AJ Griffin, man, top 5 pick in the draft. Keep telling y'all, AJ's a sleeper, but top 5 pick. AJ, the best shooter in NCAA. It left in the tournament and probably top 3 shooter in all of college basketball right now, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Ooh, I'm looking forward to it. Chris, you good? I'm waiting. We'll wait for Chris. Let's. I'm gonna go quickly with these next subjects. Quickly. All right. Bruce Arians retires. Todd Bowles is now the new head coach. And yes, before I keep going, and let's see. Yes, Bruce Arians moves to a senior football consultant. Bruce Arians is the 4th minority coach for the Bucks. And that is 2 more than any other team.
You mean Todd Bowles?
Todd Bowles.
You mean Todd Bowles? You
That's
mean Terry Crews?
Because the fourth minority coach for the Bucks. That's 2 more than any team in the NFL history, which is we're not even going to go there. We're not going to go there. But but let's talk about the factor. I know people were saying that Tom Brady coming back may have just made Bruce Arians' decision a bit easier. I know people were talking about their relationship, and I know Bruce Arians. He's a guy that is not going to just take any BS from anyone, as you can see from Antonio Brown. But that was an easy one. But Nick, I'll start with you as far as it's concerned. What do we think about Bruce Arians retiring? Todd Bowles, now the new head coach, and do you think Tom Brady is the reason why? Despite the fact that Arians said that's not the reason, Do you think Tom Brady is the reason why Arians?
You want the pretty lie or the ugly truth?
You just say what you want because
I give you the pretty lie first. You're damn right, it's because of Tom. He's sick of it. I ain't got time for this, man. You have me waste all this money to get AB. He out here throwing up do signs because his ankle, but he's still jollying right on down the end zone. Mm-hmm. Huh? Chris Godwin got hurt. Now you blaming folk, whatever, man. But I think Bruce already made his mind up. He's like, man, if Tom ain't here, I ain't coming back. Mm-hmm. I ain't got time for it. I don't know who's gonna be the next guy. That's too much pressure. And he found out Tom coming back. He's like, well, I can't renege. Mm-hmm. I already told Todd he got it. So, and with Todd Bowles being the coach, look, I love Todd Bowles. It wasn't his fault in New York. It wasn't his fault. Oh, your Jets are just a mess. Ownership is trash. Oh my God. They'd rather sell jerseys and tickets than to put a quality team on the field.
Oh. All right.
Walt, Todd Bowles is a defensive guy though, and you got Brady coming back. Like, is Brady gonna really embrace a defensive guy as his head coach?
I don't think he gonna bother him that much.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, Bruce Arians has done this before, though. This is not the first time Bruce Arians has retired, right? He quit. I think on the Cards, I believe, is the last thing he was coaching. He just kind of stepped down. So Arians, he gets to a certain point, where he gets that success, right? When that success stops, Arians is out. That's his MO, right? So I'm not surprised at all. I mean, as far as the beef with him and Bruce, is there, when there's smoke, there's fire. Obviously, right? I'm some fire to that with, Brady saying like him and Leftwich, came up with a game plan and the Arians would come and nix it, come game day, and there was some beef there. So I'm sure there was pressure probably in the front office to make it easier for Brady, and as a result, we said, hey, we're gonna give you this senior football consultant role. Keep your paycheck. You good. Relax a little bit. Call some football decisions. A little bit. And relax and catch the game in the hot tub, right? So that's what Arians is like. Hey, I think Pete Carroll's the oldest coach in the league, but he's up there. He's definitely up there in age. So it's a sweet gig for him in Bowles. From a diversity standpoint, right? This looks good. This definitely looks good. Yeah. But ultimately, it's Tom's team. We already know that. It's Tom's team. Tom's going to do what Tom does. The Bucs will be successful, especially given the state of the NFC East right now. Lord, the NFC South. Sorry, the NFC South right now. Good gracious, it's about to be a terrible division. So go ahead, Chris.
No, I think that this opens up an interesting thing. Now, just hear me out on this. Okay, so Arians transitions to a whatever role, senior, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And Todd Bowles becomes the coach. I think this is Tom Brady's opening to say, trade me to your 49ers. He now has an out. Because remember, they asked Arians in the offseason, would you trade Tom Brady? He was like, hell nah, blah, 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 blah. But, Arians is not calling those kinds of shots anymore. And Brady can say, well, fine, I'll come back, but I'm not playing for Todd Bowles. And then that's the 49ers opportunity to make a 1-year Super Bowl run with Brady. And let's be honest, Brady wanted to go to San Francisco before he settled on going to Tampa Bay anyway. And the 49ers, I hate to say it, but they have a Super Bowl ready team. The Bucs, there's still some uncertainty there. Godwin's coming off of an injury. Gronk did come back, right?
Well,
did Gronk come back?
He will come back. But
Gronk doesn't even look like himself anymore. And the Buccaneers, like you could see last season, they didn't have the same magic that they had the season before. We know that Super Bowl windows in the NFL aren't really open for long. And so I do see a scenario out there where Brady does say, I want to trade, and I want to trade to the 49ers, which means that Trey Lance has to wait another season. And maybe that's where 49ers can make a deal with the Bucs and just send Garoppolo to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good, but no, it's just Trey area, man. It's Trey area, man. We ready. The faithful, man, we ready, man. We're going to let Trey do his thing this year. It's going to be, he'll have his ups and downs, but like, first round pick. You know, he sat a whole season. You sit 2 seasons. I mean, the A-Rod, does the A-Rod formula work for everybody? Probably not, right? Yeah, especially in the world in which we live out, where especially top 5 picks, especially quarterbacks, want to be in the field instantly. Nah, man, we made an investment. You saw the capital that we gave up for him.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play the kid, man, for better or worse. And as fans, we got to live with the results. I'm excited about Trey. I think he's going to bring a different dynamic to the team. I mean, not think than Garoppolo. They're oil and water, right? They're just completely different players. And hopefully early in the season we get over the some of the the rough patches, but and by mid-season we hit our stride and we make a run at it. But nah, I can't see Brady anywhere outside of Tampa now. But crazier things have happened, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, we'll see, man. I'm definitely go ahead.
We're not gonna have this Jordan Love effect. You understand?
Oh my God.
Right?
We're not doing this.
Oh, we're not doing it.
We're not doing this now. No.
Ran Devontae out of town. You had the man, right? Goddamn there. All you had to do was give him the money. You wait till he said, "I want to go to Las Vegas." No, wait, he go, Devontae, he go.
Offered him money.
He go.
No, offered him
Bruh. I'm sorry, guys. You can't pay a receiver $30 million a year. You just can't. Like not when you're paying your quarterback $50 million a year. It just can't happen.
That's a lot of money, bro.
Julio, then get Julio. He out there.
Oh no.
Nah. I told you. I floated the theory out there. Trade for DK Metcalf. The Seattle Seahawks are rebuilding right now. Trade Jordan Love and your first round pick for DK Metcalf. Let them start over with Jordan Love and that first round pick. Who says no to that deal?
Me.
Okay, so here's a better deal. So trade Jordan Love and the first round and the second round pick that you just got from the Raiders for Devontae Adams for DK Metcalf and maybe like a 6th round pick. That's the deal right there. I mean, why would Seattle say no? Because you're going to have to pay DK Metcalf in a year or 2 anyway. And who's the Seahawks starting quarterback? Think about that for a second. Drew Lock? For real?
I'm the GM now. Don't do it out of spite. I don't care how nice it is, just because I don't like him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on.
And that's why you continue to lose. That's why the Jets are where they are.
Hey, we ain't talking about the Jets now. I just admitted they was trash. All right. The organization don't know what the hell they doing.
All right, real quick. Minneapolis, women's Final Four. We got South Carolina versus Louisville. We got the defending champs, Stanford, going up against UConn. Now, a good thing, like I said, the biggest key stat for me, and I know Chris as well, UConn has now been to 14 straight Final Fours, but they have not been to championship games since 2016. They have lost the last 4 semifinals. Obviously, 2020 was the beginning of the pandemic, and we did not have a March Madness at all. But yes, UConn has not. That has been 4 straight. Do we think UConn's going to win the national championship this time? Like I said, they're playing the defending champs. I'll just let y'all who you think will win the national championship at least.
No, I don't think UConn's going to win. I think that the sleeper of the tournament's going to be Louisville, and I think Louisville will win the national championship.
Ooh, could be South Carolina. Got against Aaliyah Boston, player of the year, defensive player of the year. That name, South Carolina Gamecocks got some good defense.
I love Dawn Staley too. I love Dawn, but Louisville got a chip on their shoulder, man. They got a chip on their shoulder. I'm going Louisville for the surprise win.
Ooh, all right. I don't know, Nick.
I'm going for Dawn Staley, man.
You gotta go for Dawn Staley.
Yeah, South Carolina, man.
All right.
That's my girl right there, man. Love me some Dawn Staley.
Ooh, man. All right, Chris. Do you think
South Carolina? I just I hear Walt and Louisville, but I just see South Carolina as a team that's just ready to win it. Like UConn has been dominant though. Let's not understate how crazy it is that Gino has gotten UConn to 14 straight Final Fours. Who does that? So that means every single year his teams have a chance to win, period. And that's all you can ask for, the chance to win. This cat is going to Final Fours with different squads. It's not like he's taking the same young women all of these 14 years. It's a different squad almost every season, and he's going to the Final Four every year.
Sir. It's college basketball, women's college basketball. They all stay, for the most part, 3 years.
Right.
And he's Gino. So no, I get it, but the program itself, especially in women's college basketball, they're gonna always get the top of the top. Period. And Gino's earned that. I mean, Gino has earned that, right? And obviously, we got some new players in it. It used to be Tennessee, right? With Pat Summitt. It was UConn and Tennessee. Pat retired, so then now it's UConn and South Carolina. Stanford won last year, but it's going to continue. Like all your top 10 players are going to go to the same 3 or 4 schools, right? Similar to men's college basketball, but I think the talent disparity in women's college basketball from the top players to kind of the average players is much larger than it is in men's college basketball. So I'm not surprised. I mean, it's an amazing accomplishment, but I can't say I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I am looking forward to seeing Beckers and Fudd going up against Stanford. Like I said, I think that's going to be a big basketball game. That second game is going to be insane to me. And Stanford has looked, I think, great in this tournament as well. That game, UConn, they battled against NC State and they pulled it off. But yeah, and like I said, South Carolina's defense is going to be tough too. Like I said, Louisville's hungry. They're going to definitely be hungry. This is the 4th time in program history, I believe, they are in the Final Four. So we will definitely see. All right, one more subject. All right, I know this has been beat around the bush all week long.
Beat up, talked about.
Beat up. Oh yeah. Well, yes. Well, yeah, and we all know about it because we don't have to introduce it. Let's just give it our thoughts about Will Smith slapping or punching. I'll just say slap. Nick, I'll start with you about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on the stage after that. Of course, talk about Will Smith's wife and her.
It was a G.I. Jane joke. Oh. Nah, I mean, okay, all right. I'll put it like this. I'm not a married man. So people will say, well, your opinion, you understand if you're married. I get it. But I think his actions was just, but it was the wrong place, wrong time. I feel like he should have waited till he went to commercial break and been like, let me holler at you. I wouldn't even say that. I would have just walked up right after commercial break. Whoever took backstage, this way it would just been a story that people been talking about because nobody would have had their cameras out. Mm-hmm. People just been like, yeah, it happened, or no, it didn't happen. But here we are. Mm. And there's extra videos out that's coming out now. I just saw a video today where it showed when he slapped Chris Rock, Jada started laughing. So I was like, come on, she wasn't even concerned. I was like, yo, this chick is toxic. You know what I'm saying? I got my man out here acting a fool on national television. Come on, man. Fresh Prince. Greatest night of his life, he lost it.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. I mean, for me, go ahead, Walt. Yeah, for me, I just think it's a buildup, and I've heard this, kind of theory multiple times, but just a buildup, man. Will's been through so much, and in terms of his relationship with Jada and the slander, and saying that his stroke game is subpar to the August Alsina controversy. Sorry, we can edit that, right? To the August Alsina controversy, to the to the open relationship controversy, to the Tupac, to Tupac controversy, and like all these things over the years that have come out about them, and like it's just everything has just been the snowball effect, right? Gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where his masculinity on primetime TV was challenged in his opinion, pertaining his wife, that people, I guess in his opinion, feel like he's never really been that man for her. Mm-hmm. So he took the opportunity to show them like, yo, I'm gonna stand up. Now, my feeling is but do I feel like it was appropriate? Nah, not really. Off a G.I. Jane joke, not really. I think he took advantage of the opportunity that it was Chris Rock. If it was The Rock, you know what I'm saying? Is Will gonna go up there and smack Dwayne Johnson in the face? No. It was Chris Rock. So he knew that Chris wasn't going to pop off, but he took advantage of the opportunity, and as a result, he'll suffer the consequences, and we'll see what they'll be. But these are rich, super wealthy Black men. It sucks that they had to show that side of us as we are already targets, right? And on national TV. But just like everything else, give it a month, give it a couple of months. Nobody will care about us anymore, and we'll be on to the next big controversy, right? So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I think someone said it best in our circle. Just be careful who you marry. And there's some Jada does bring a toxic element, it seems like. And I think for years, Jada keeps telling us stuff. And we want Jada to stop telling us stuff. Because I feel like we know their business. And you're right. Will has been slandered so much over the past 5 to 10 years that it was a buildup and he got tired of it. And in that moment, that trigger just went off. And I hear you, Nick, commercial break, go backstage, all of that. But sometimes you're in a moment. You react in the moment. And you think about what you did after the fact. And I think that's where Will was or whatever. I think Will got to a point after he said the hell out of Chris Rock. And you could see it in his emotional speech, after winning his award, that there was some remorse for what he did. And while I haven't heard him apologize, directly to Chris Rock, I mean, he did issue some statement of apology, to Chris Rock. And Chris Rock apologized for making a joke about Jada as well. But I think for Will, and then just thinking, of me as a married man, to a Black woman, if and again, let's assume that Will, just based on what I read, Will had already talked to Chris Rock about talking about his wife as far back as 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So if Chris Rock then took the opportunity, which he did, and made another joke about Will's wife, after Will kindly asked him in private to not do that, then I feel like Will was justified in slapping the hell out of Chris Rock, on TV. Mm-hmm. Maybe it could have happened. And again, like you said, these are two extremely wealthy, extremely successful Black men. You don't want to see that on camera for the whole world to see, because you know what the narrative is after that. Sure, right. But it happened, and in Will's mind, it needed to happen in that moment because he was just fed up in that moment. And I think, when you watch the video and you watch Will say, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth," like that fucking, that was the fed up fucking.
Yeah, that was.
Like, fucking, like when you say it like that, you're finished. Like, you're done. Like, you don't want to hear any more shit. Like, you're just like, I'm gonna just handle my business right here, and I'm just let it be known that this is gonna be it, or else next time it might be something different than this. But what it has done for Chris Rock is he's back on the road, and them tickets,
went
from $50 to $500 or something like that. And I'm like, man, this is making Chris Rock, richer. And so, again, ultimately, you wish it didn't happen, live on air for everyone to see. But I don't necessarily disagree with Will Smith smacking Chris Rock in that moment, protecting his wife.
So the funny part, so this is me as a Black man, right, and pretty cool Black man at that. In my thought process, right, if I say in my mind something is triggering me, right, and I know at this point I'm about to go. Like, the funniest part about the whole thing to me was the slap. what grown man's like, I'm about to go up here and slap the shit out. Like, for me, like, I'm gonna hit a dude, like, I'm full face punch. I'm like, he thought he had to think about that shit, right? He was like, I don't want to knock this out, but I want to send a message. So like, that I felt like it was very calculated by Will. I feel some thought into it. I feel like he made his mind up. If I hear anything about Jada from this man because of the history, I'm gonna do it. Like, it didn't seem very spur of the moment for me. It seemed very like, just even in him laughing at the jokes and then see, okay, showtime. Real casually and real chill. He wasn't like star. Like, he was just like, and just go sit back there. Like it just felt very calculated. I don't think it was staged, but it felt very calculated to me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I agree with that. I mean, you know, like y'all said, Chris Rock's ticket sales and stuff, and I got a lot of respect for Chris. You know, he got one hell of a chin. You know what I mean? Because you heard that fire on that mic. That was a punch.
Did you? Yeah, I thought it was you heard it. I was like, well, damn. You know, I was licking the inside of my damn jaw like, did I get like, yo, we all been smacked before. You're saying where you know how you can kind of taste blood a little bit. You know, I was like, damn, that was a hard ass slap.
And then two, he just kept the show moving. Like that's what made it so crazy because everybody thought it was staged. Because it was like, wait a minute, it's like Cat just trying to just like. He just kept his cool. I mean, kept his composure. I ain't gonna say kept his cool. Kept his composure and kept on with the show. Anybody else?
The wrong one.
Might have been some hands, or you would have saw Will getting handcuffed when he got his trophy. Because that's what I would have done. All right, nope. Right now, if I can't touch him, wait. All right, now cuff him. Right when he got the award, cuff him.
Get him.
Like, the crazy thing is. Like, this is how I feel like Chris Rock realizes he was wrong on some level is because he didn't even press charges, you know, and he apologized. Any man who feels that he's done something wrong, any man who feels like he didn't do something wrong isn't going to then apologize for something that he didn't do and then not press charges, you know, when this was essentially assault in front of the entire world. And so Chris Rock opted not to press charges, and he opted to issue an apology directly to Will and Jada for making the joke. So Chris Rock acknowledges, you know, some responsibility in this, and it's great. And you're right, he did keep the show moving, but I ain't gonna say that he was fully composed right after that because he was slipping over some of them words. He was still trying to figure out what just happened because the teleprompter, I don't know what was on the teleprompter at that point, but he was saying some stuff and he was like, and we, yeah. So, you know, he was still stunned.
He could have walked up that stage or whatever. He could just F this, drop that mic.
Yeah, professional, man. Like, I mean, that he's a professional, bro. I mean, he kept the show going. And as a result, like I said, you know, that paper, as you said, like he had his first show and they said in his first show, he addressed the situation very, very lightly. You know what I mean? But naturally, you know, as he goes through this tour, that's going to be a part of his show, and you know his storytelling ability and all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to make him, you know, that much more richer, right? So end of the day, you know, he looks good. He looks good in the public eye. You know, he's the victim, obviously, in this case. You know, depending on I mean, overall, I think he's the victim, right? He got assaulted, but you know, his bread's going up. I guarantee you, more opportunities will open up as a result. This probably won't be the last Oscars that he hosts, right? You know, so so like end of the day, you know, it's all about the bag when it comes down to it, right? And I think Will suffer. Use the word suffer lightly, right? He's a freaking worth $250 million, right? But like I think from just an overall, you know, moving forward standpoint, I think will certainly suffer the consequences of his actions, whether that means his Oscar is taken away or other opportunities that he may have had in the pipeline may disappear, right, as a result of kind of public shame. So yeah, we'll see.
I do not want that.
I mean, that slap gave Chris Rock more material. You know what I'm saying? So you know, Chris Rock is good. Like he definitely will start his show with some of that material. When he hosts the Oscars in 2026, you know, he's gonna open the show by saying, "Where's Will Smith sitting at?" And everybody's gonna laugh, you know. and so he'll be all right or whatever. And as far as Will's not gonna lose any gigs, man. Will's got a stranglehold of both the black and the white community in Hollywood, so he'll be fine. Like he's nothing. I'd say in a month we're not even going to be talking about this slap.
We're in April now. We're now April.
I give it 6 months. Like I said, he gonna suffer for a little bit because they about to do a red table talk, him and his wife, about the situation real soon.
See, here we go again. They're gonna be telling us stuff.
They already announced it.
All right. Well, all right. So we're gonna end this with a parting shot or the last word. I'll just say last word. It's better. That it goes to talk better. Just anything get your mind off something you want to get off your chest. Obviously, nothing offensive, but nothing too crazy. But Nick, I'll start with you.
Me?
Yes,
Oh,
yes. What do you want to get off? Anything you want to get off before we get off your chest before we end this show?
Bombers championship. As long as you get KD to rock. But Kyrie.
Oh,
I'll leave it at that.
okay. Walt, you're next.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to get off?
Hey man, you know what's all my focus is all about Saturday, man. It's all about Saturday right now. You see it show one more time. You know, this one right here. This is for K right here. You know, this right here is for the legacy. You know, like I said, Duke by 10, man. Duke by 10. That's it.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, well, you know, I've got another really great speaking opportunity coming up first week of April, where I'll be speaking to about 1,000 high school juniors and seniors. And I share this message with everyone every time I go and speak. In a world where you can be anything, be you.
Great, definitely great.
Unless you single, because it's hard out here. These folks crazy, man. It's crazy out here. If you married, stay there.
Man, don't be messing up my message, man.
My bad.
Oh my goodness, man. Just two things for me. Well, actually, I guess one thing. Obviously, everyone in Raleigh, please be safe this weekend, man. I know that Dreamfield Festival is going to be incredible, first and foremost. And I know I definitely love that Gangsta Grizzles mixtape. Gangsta Grills mixtape, I'm going to just say that. With Dreamville and DJ Drama. Definitely loved it. So I know they're going to perform the heck out of those tracks. But like I said, everyone, please be safe out there around that area this weekend. Like I said, you got that Duke North Carolina game that they will stream, which is going to be nuts. It's just going to be a busy weekend around that area all around. And like I said, man, for me, this just I got nothing else really. I know the World Cup, just for me personally, the World Cup draws tomorrow. And USA Soccer is back in it, so we're going to definitely see what kind of draw they have. It's good to see them back in it. It makes the game that much better. But anyway.
Don't wear your best sneakers at Dreamville Fest. Don't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You wear something slight, something you willing to F up.
Yeah, something.
Don't put on nothing fancy because they're going to get smashed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My son will be there. Well, Walt's 16th birthday present. One of his presents is Dreamville. So I'm nervous, but
excellent. That's a great present. That's a great present.
Great dad there. It's a great dad. It's a great dad on this chat, man. Great dad on this podcast, man. Y'all doing good, man. Yes. Both of y'all doing good. I'm gonna give y'all claps, man. I ain't trying to gas y'all, but y'all be doing real good.
Oh man.
Give y'all flowers, man.
Yeah, man. We're gonna end it with that. We're definitely gonna end it with that one. All right. So everyone, thank you for listening to Ron Nick's Rundown. Walt and Chris, thank you both for joining us. Definitely was a great show. Definitely enjoyed it. I know the Lakers was definitely the biggest topic we've had, and probably the longest Lakers conversation we ever had on this show. But we will end it there. Thank you all for listening to Ron Nick's Rundown. Can't wait for you all to watch us or listen to us next time.